So we met in September of 2011 in Mobile, Alabama. I believe it was September, maybe like the
I think
second
it was
week.
August.
Pretty sure it was like the first or second weekend of September. Because remember, I did the race. I had the race that I did, and that was a September race because it was a military themed because of Labor Day.
I moved there mid-August to Mobile,
Yes.
and then I was out looking for a job, and I don't think I was there longer than about a week. So last week of August, first week of September,
When did she go
2011.
2011. And it was, yes, this actually, we'll jump into the next question, which is, how did we meet? And that was at Texas Roadhouse. And it was actually my last day of work. I had put in my notice already. And this guy comes in late, as always, to work, running in. It was his first
I
day.
think it's more right on time. It's not late. Late for her is if you're not 5 or 10 minutes early. And me, time and minutes, just, they matter so much. So it's, if I was right on, like 3 o'clock, I was there at 3:00, maybe 3:01.
Right. So either way, he was not on time. He was running in. I remember, I can see it, him like shooting in the door at Texas Roadhouse and coming and setting all this stuff up.
So it's love at first sight.
I remember, because I also remember the manager at the time was just talking about how he was always late, he was never there, and
So it wasn't my first
I
day.
can't remember. No, it was the first day I saw you.
Okay.
So it might not have been like your first day, but it was the first day that we both worked
First
at
day
the
that we
same
worked.
time. Yes, and actually, you know, come to think about it, I don't think it was my official last day. I think I ended up maybe taking a shift for somebody like another day, because I think that was the day that you said you sent me a message and I never got it. But that's for the next question. Either way, I was on my way out. He was just getting started. I helped him cheat on a test. Not cheat, I think he knew the answers. I think he just tried to pretend like he needed help, and I offered to help him answer his questions. And
I had to reach out. There was some way I had to talk to you.
yeah, well, and I think that night we were cleaning our tables after the shift. Was it that night? And we just kind of started talking, and he was like, how old are you? And I mean, he looked really young at the time. He looked really young. And I always did kind of think that I was going to marry somebody older. But when he was like, oh, I'm 28, I was like, oh, no, I'm not even in my 20s yet. Like, this is, yeah, sorry. Like,
You
that's,
said 19, and I was, it was pretty much a door slamming in my face.
yeah.
Then you kept looking, so I was like, hold on, I don't know, it's possible.
Well, Alex claims he made the first move. I'm not really sure that that is 100% because he, to this day, he swears that he sent me a Facebook message inviting me to some art museum or something that I never got, never saw a message from him. So I just have always
I'm pretty
said,
sure that you sent me a message and we had plans. You were gonna meet me at the museum.
I keep telling him I think it was another
So
girl that he was trying to message.
No. There was no other. You know, at this point, I was pretty excited. I was 28, so about this time when I met you, I'm looking for my future. You know,
Your time was running out.
No, I don't think 28's not that bad, but yeah, I was ready to slow down a little bit, and I'm pretty sure I was waiting on you at the museum. I actually did go and wait for you at the museum, and you never showed up. So I guess she thought about the age, and it was too much for her or something.
Yeah, no, it's because I didn't know. And I think I picked up a shift. It was probably my last shift at Texas Roadhouse. And I remember him coming over to the little kiosk thing where we punch
I
our
remember
orders.
too, right now you're telling me this, I'm like, man, it's just like happening right there. I walked up, I'm thinking I was going to say something smart and be like, golly,
You did
it
say
was
something
over.
smart. I don't
Probably.
think it was rude. I think you were like, hey, you never showed up or something. You didn't, I waited for you at the museum or something. I don't remember what you said.
You're gonna take this to the grave, aren't you?
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? You didn't invite me to the museum. I would have been there. I didn't know. That's when his whole story. I sent you a message. You never showed up. He's stuck to it ever since. So basically, I think it was probably 50-50 on who made the first move. Probably right.
Yeah, I think we started flirting that first night at the restaurant. I remember going back that night and Facebooking and looking at your picture, and was she really hot? Yeah, she was hot. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was way.
It was over after that. I had to.
I used to take care of myself back in my late
You
teens.
still do, beautiful. You still do.
I don't know, it's kind of all a blur now. Either way, first date. Well, okay, so our first date, I guess I don't really remember what we did after, like if we ever went on an official date after.
First date, we went out to eat. We were, after you get off, young 20s, go usually for a drink in the restaurant industry. And instead of doing that, we went together to Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Waffle House.
I think in the restaurant business, you normally get off pretty late too. So, basically that's what everybody does is they normally go out drinking after. We decided to not go out with everybody. They were all going to TGI Fridays or Buffalo Wild Wings or something. Everybody was headed to the same direction. And we were like, I was like, no, I don't want to go. I want a waffle. Let's go to Waffle House. Which obviously in the college scene, Waffle House is a staple. Waffle House was probably one of my most visited places while I was in college. So we went to Waffle House near the University of South Alabama. It was probably 10 or 11 o'clock. What time did we leave Waffle House? Like 3 or 4 in the morning. We just sat at a booth and talked, and drank coffee, and ate waffles.
Talked about everything in life, ambitions, and I think that's where I kind of fell in love with you right there. That's when I was like, I probably could settle down with this woman right now.
First date.
Yep.
This is fun to answer. This is where our story takes a turn in a different direction because I think it is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Non-traditional. From the first date point to now was very not traditional. Well, not to now, but until, we got married. Very not traditional. So we dated 4 months before we got married. We just bypassed engagement altogether.
Yeah, we were riding in the car, and I think you brought it up. I said, we should just do it. And you were like, yeah, why don't we? And so we just kind of set the goal to going and speaking to my uncle. He was a judge at the time, and at the courthouse, we went and spoke to him, and he gave us 2 weeks and said, if you guys still feel the same way in 2 weeks, and this was, did we turn around like that day and go ask him? Because I know we were right there. I think we just pulled in, didn't we? And asked him, how did that work? I think is what it was. And he said, if we came back in 2 weeks and we still felt the same way, to really think about it and pray about it. 2 weeks later, we were in the courthouse, and I picked her up from work, and she had this little white dress that she brought with her to
Yes.
the daycare.
I worked at a daycare. And at the daycare, I got a 2-hour lunch break, which was awesome. So he picked me up, and typically during my lunch breaks, I would have enough time to take a nap and grab lunch. So he picked me up during the lunch break. It was a Friday, and it was Friday the 13th, January 2012. And he picked me up from lunch. We went to the courthouse. I brought an Easter dress that pretty sure my mom bought me when I was in 8th or 9th grade. I still can fit in it. So, I went into the bathroom at the courthouse in Alex City, put the white dress on, and we went into the courtroom, and really the only thing I remember, I remember it, don't get me wrong. I knew we said our vows and we like have them on a piece of paper here, but I don't remember all of that to a T. I do remember there were like 3 lawyers that were sitting in there, like basically the witnesses, and they were all crying, and it was really cool. I think it was pretty intimate, like with it being such a small amount of people. I don't know, I think it meant more.
It's like quaint.
Yeah, I think it meant more. It wasn't flashy. We didn't have to spend a lot of money to tell everybody and God and ourselves that we loved each other.
We wanted to do the traditional, non-traditional thing, which the traditional part of it was that we wanted to make a good decision and go ahead and get married and move in and live together. And,
Yeah.
and so that way we would know that inside of our hearts we were doing the right thing. And I think we've been blessed because of that. So
I think I was pretty nervous. Nobody knew about it.
yeah,
You
I was
know,
pretty nervous too.
That was really nerve-wracking. I wasn't nervous about getting married. I think I was more nervous because like nobody knew. It was like
Yeah.
a really big secret.
We
Like
had talked to my parents about it, and they wanted her to move back, and me to, I don't even know what they wanted me to do. It was 28 now.
and I'm sure my parents are gonna watch this,
Her
but
parents were,
you know, obviously,
they didn't know, did they? Like,
yeah, no,
but I'm sure they would have probably been against it.
yeah, I was still pretty young.
Yeah.
I was really young, and you know, one part that we didn't share that I think is pretty important. Okay, so after we got married, this is the part of the non-traditional part of it. We told all of our family. Actually, Alex's mom said she knew way before we told her. But I remember we had my mom up and my grandmother up, and yeah, it was
Tough.
yeah, it was really
Oh,
tough. I
goodness.
hope that now they can kind of laugh about it. I think
Sure
at the
they
time
can.
they could not laugh about it, and I don't really blame them because at that time it was not really funny. But I think now, like 9 years into it, I hope that there's like a little bit of funny that they can take
Yeah,
out
I
of
wouldn't
it.
take it back for the world, though. You know, there's
Yeah.
no telling what could have happened or transpired at the courthouse.
So on the day we got married, tell the story about the rings and that whole situation because that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
important.
So one thing that Judge Young asked us to do was obviously to bring rings, and we both just recently moved. We were headed for a job interview, so I don't even think I started working quite yet.
We were broke.
I was not working. She was working. She got a job right off the bat, doing something she had done before, watching children at a daycare. And so I'm putting stuff together, resumes, and trying to do all kind of stuff. And so we're broke, but she had change that she had saved up from the time she was little in a piggy bank. And so it came out to the dollar, change, like literally, I think I had one quarter left. We got 2 rings at a pawn shop. I still wear mine. It doesn't come off my finger anymore. She still has hers, and then the rest of it was spent on the marriage certificate, what it cost to get married. So just little things along the way, like making these huge decisions that are backed up by little things like that just make you smile. That is so cool. So at the end, after we said I do, and you know, like she said, there was only a few people in there, and a couple of us, a couple of them crying said us. I probably teared up a little bit, but I went and she changed and dropped her back off at her work so she could finish, and I was back at it. So
We got married and he dropped me back off at work.
yeah,
Finished
no
the day.
time for a honeymoon, and I figure we'd probably try to do something at year 10 or 25, I reckon. So
Yeah, and we kind of say that every vacation we go on now, we're like, oh, we never had a honeymoon. We use it to kind of justify all of our vacations.
But I think at year 10 we were talking about maybe doing a traditional wedding and honeymoon type. Boom, Romeo broke it out. Everybody wants to know, like, did you know though? Like, did you know you were making a good decision? Like,
Yeah, I knew that we were gonna get married. I knew that
So you knew I was the one.
I did. I knew you were the one. I knew that we were.
When did you
I
know
knew that
was
we were
the
gonna
one?
get
When
married.
did you find that out? Like, what do you think? What was the day that?
It was probably around when we first met. For me, really, first week or so we met. When we started having all of our, when you first meet and you have like those really deep conversations, you like really get to know somebody. So we have been married in January. Will be 9 years. 9 years. So
And then you have those guys, and
we have 3 precious babies.
It's been a great 9 years.
Yes.
I could have been kicking around the bucket for 5-6 years, and then finally asked you and taking another year, and
Yeah. It's not for everybody. The route we took is not for everybody, but it was for us. We didn't want to live together, not be married. We knew we were going to get married, so why wait? And like Alex said, we have been blessed ever since, so we knew it was the right decision. And here we are, almost 10 years in.